So every October, the month full of art prompt challenges, I tell myself I'm going to manage this. I'm going to complete a whole month of completing daily prompts, and every single year I fail. But this month, I managed! I am so excited. For the first time in the 48 years of my life, I have actually completed a art prompt challenge. So excited. But more than that sense of completion, I have rediscovered my passion for creating and for drawing. I'm feeling inspired again. I've rediscovered my style. I have learned so much. And the most exciting thing, it has actually inspired or given me the creative idea for a brand new series on this channel, from sketchbook to craft desk. So without further ado, let me show you all the pieces of artwork I have created, and I can talk a little bit more about what's ahead for the future as a result of this challenge. Okay, so day one, and the prompt was acorn, and it was such a lovely, comfortable start for me. I love drawing woodland and forest. I love acorns. My grandfather, his second name was Oakes, spelt differently, it was Oakes, and I always thought of him as the patriarch of the family, of this big, wise, old oak tree, and the rest of the family, we were like acorns building on his legacy. I just loved the idea. So I loved doing the thought of a little acorn house in the woods. I was also on holiday when I did this, and I had taken stuff with me. And so this painting got a lot of time. And you can see we've got like really good kind of shading work going on. And I like the depth and dimension of this. But for this, the first few pages, I got to spend quite a bit of time on it. And that was really good. So it was a nice start to the challenge. I enjoyed that one. Second prompt was kite. Not inspired at all, couldn't come up with anything interesting. So in the end, I was just keep it simple, draw a kite. What I did do to try and make it more interesting was work on pattern building. That's something I could maybe include whilst colouring stamps in the future to make things a little bit more interesting and exciting, make them a bit more unique in mine. So I did most of this with acrylic markers, and I really like how the clouds turned out. I'm not sure about this wash in the background, but it was the colour that I had with me on holiday. Bit dull, but it's okay. It did the job. This I adore. I adore her. She's so cute. So the prompt was slug. I'm not sure technically it's a slug. Is it a slug or a snail? Who knows? But I just absolutely love how this turned out. Now, because I was on holiday as well, in my head I thought I would digitise them, because that's how I'm used to working. I am used to drawing something, turning it into a digital image, and then that either print that out and colour it in, or I stamp it. So for me, kind of working with no lines was new and was different, but I was on holiday and I had limitations. So what I'd done is I'd taken tracing paper, so I traced it, but I actually love the no lines look, and I got to experiment with different ways of working, which I really enjoy. I've since sort of done a live where we did no lines colouring using a stamp, but I was able to sort of create these sort of like little bits of shadow lines. Thoroughly enjoyed doing that. Bit different, and I definitely think this little kitty will be a stamp next year, so look out for that. Again, if you're seeing stuff that you like, but I've had loads of comments about the critters, so they will definitely be in future. This, I've just realised the prompt for this was gingham, and I've just realised that's a check and not a gingham, is it? Because if it had been a gingham, those bits would have been coloured. Yeah, that's not a gingham. Anywho, this is what I did for gingham, even though I've just realised I did it wrong. Never mind. But I wasn't sure what to do. It was quite an open prompt. Didn't quite know what direction to go in. But I really love these sort of patterned pumpkins. I wanted to give that a go. Not my best work, but it was fun. I did enjoy doing that one. This one, I loved colouring it. It took me hours and hours. I think I was about 6 hours colouring this with my Faber-Castell pencils, but I love the depth that we've got. And this is one of my favourite things to do, is to kind of take an object that's not meant to be an item of clothing and turn it into clothing. So I had fun with this one. That was good. Let's see, right. This one, the prompt was ring, and I just really wasn't inspired by that prompt at all. And I really didn't know what to do. I didn't want to draw it like a ring on the finger. I didn't want to draw a telephone. Then eventually I was kind of thinking, oh, I loved painting galaxies. Maybe I could do a galaxy painting and draw a planet with a ring. That was in my head, and I've been keeping up this daily sketchbook practice, and somehow between those two thoughts being in my head, she was created, and I adore her. I would love her as a stamp, but I've not had I've not had much feedback on that, so I'm not completely sure, but I would love her as a stamp. And I love the fact that we did like galaxy painting for her hair. This was actually, I do have a process video of this one because it was in the last video about when I was preparing for Peachtober, but that one was lots of fun. This one is Strawberry, and this is the way I'm used to working. So I'd sketched her, I had digitized her, printed her off, and used my alcohol markers to colour in. She's got a very stiff pose, and I've realised that is definitely something I need to work on. I still need to work on creating movement when I'm creating characters and being able to draw them from different angles. So she looks quite stiff, but I do love her outfit. It is really cute, and I do like how it turned out. Right. Here we've got another little character. This was Leaf. It's definitely my character phase for this one, but I do enjoy creating little characters. We've got little gold accents, and I think she would look marvellous in as a little forest creature. She is very cute. The prompt for this one was rope. As I said, I struggle creating movement in my characters. I couldn't think of anything to do with rope until I thought of a skipping rope, but then that meant I had to create movement. So we tried. I'm not sure successfully, but you know, it is what it is. She's okay. The prompt for this one was critter. Now when I drew the other slug, I just sort of drew pages and pages of little bugs. So I had loads to choose from, and so I saved this one for critter. I'm not particularly keen on how I coloured this one up. I think I did it in a bit of a rush. It looks a bit patchy up here, and I could do a much better job. But this is one of the things about these challenges. As I said, it was fine when on holiday and I could spend a lot of time, but sometimes I just had to get them up on time. And because I kept myself accountable by sharing them on Instagram, it meant I wanted to do it within the 24-hour period of the day, which means occasionally I had to put up artwork that I wasn't happy with. But that helped me just to kind of realise that not everything has to be perfect. And that is a good lesson to learn, especially when it comes to your art. He is a little cutie. This is Seagull, and I really enjoy drawing quirky birds, so this was fun, and I enjoyed playing with this technique here where we kind of drop ink into watercolour, and I learned that from the Queen of Peachtober herself, and that is a technique that she does a lot, so I really enjoyed that, and I'll probably try and play with it more. This is another one where I had to send out something imperfect. It's really annoying because I was really liking how it's looking. I liked how we had the blend of the green into the browns there. Thought I did that really well, but then I wanted to kind of get that kind of lichen look on it, and I went on with grey paint markers, and I didn't really like how it looked. And then because it was grey paint markers, it was permanent. Also then had filled up the tooth, so then try and go over it with pencil, I was struggling. So it's okay-ish. Not my favourite. I like the image. It's maybe one that I could revisit again sometime. This one, the prompt was marbles. Again, was really stuck for a long time until I thought of the expression, I've lost my marbles, and then I thought I'd have a jar of marbles, and I've made it very whimsical and galaxy, as though like, you know, like if imaginary friends are real and the land of lost marbles is real, and I quite like how the cloud thing has turned out. And again, we've managed to sneak in a few bugs because I'm just enjoying that at the minute. This one, the prompt was brush. If you saw the first one where I was preparing for Peachtober, this is not the one that I was going to go for, but I changed my mind and drew this. It's a bit whimsical, it's a bit different. I'm obsessed with clouds, so it ticked that box for me. It's okay, but yeah, it was a little bit rushed. This one just makes me laugh. I kind of got really stuck on the whole bug theme throughout this, and yeah, this was fun. So the prompt for this one was aquarium, and when you actually look up aquarium, it just means a glass or clear vessel in which aquatic life is stored. I was going to say animals, but it can be plant life as well, where it's stored. So somehow I managed to connect the fact that slugs and snails have their home on their back, and then I was like, oh, there could be an aquarium on its back. So I drew that, and then I thought it would be hilarious to have the world's largest mammal on the back of a tiny snail. And so this was born. Complete fantasy, completely crazy, good representation of my head. And yeah, and we also have a little sea snail in there. It just makes me laugh. Right, the next one was Hatch. This was quite a nice simple one, I have to say. In doing 31 prompts, it was good to have a few quick and easy ones. Definitely needed them, and I like this little seedling character. I have enjoyed drawing. My sketchbook is quite full of these, and yeah, what I'm really proud of myself is now I have sketched every single day for 2 months, so I'm hoping I'm going to build a nice creative habit from that. This one again, nice simple one, and the prompt was whistle, and I do love a cup of tea, so the thought of having a kettle and it whistling, and just to emphasize the fact it's whistling, we've got a few music notes there as well. And I'm just looking at that now and thinking, I could tell this was one of these ones. I think I posted this on Instagram at about 5 to 12 at night, and I can tell as well because I've just noticed I have no white doodles on it to make it pop, but there you go. The prompt for this one was toad. I think it's quite cute. I don't particularly like the shape of the mushroom or the toadstool. I like the fact I had the toadstool in there because you had the toadstool and the toad. That was quite fun. I really enjoyed adding all the pastels to this. I've sort of rediscovered pastels. They're one of my new passions. I'd forgotten them for a long, long time, and now I'm just using them so much. And I love the gorgeous mottledy look we've managed to give the toad. Again, this is one of these ones where I've had to embrace imperfection to share it with the public. Here we have Melon. Again, still pose. I think there's a slight tilt to her. But we definitely need to work on that. But I do adore her outfit. I think she's very cute. And again, this is one that I digitized, printed it off on a nice, super smooth paper, and then coloured with my alcohol markers. This one just makes me laugh. I told you, bug theme. So again, with the idea of home on your back, that is what kind of brought this about. So the prompt was truck, and it was one of those ones I was like, truck? Really? Why? Why would you put that in as a prompt? Ugh. And nothing came, and I tried to draw trucks and they were not good, and then eventually I kind of thought of this, and it took a while, but I got there. So again, I just thought it was really funny at the fact that you've got this little creature that naturally carries its home on its back, but actually it's moving day, and he has got a whole truck, and he's like literally taking everything with him, including the trees and the bushes and his aquarium. Makes me laugh. I enjoyed it. This one breaks my heart. She is so beautiful, but she looks like someone's punched her in the face. Yeah, I really want to recolor this one. This was one of those ones, again, I would have done, but because there was a time frame and I had to get her up on time, I couldn't redo it. So I had built it all up with pastels, which I am loving for faces. But because we had this icy blue, I wanted to give her a nice blue shadow to get kind of solidify that icy look, and it kind of works here, but on this side of her face it just looked bruised. So I tried to take it away and kind of layer up pink, and then it just really didn't work. So then I kind of went over with acrylic markers, and that didn't work, and then I went over with pastels over the acrylic markers, and I just kept going and going, and the more I kept going, the worse it got. And it's a shame because she's a really pretty image. I like her as an image, but I just bit upset by this. But again, I had to share it as was, and there was a lot of lessons to be learned in, you know, embracing imperfection. And I think when you are sharing stuff online, what I would say to people is, tell me 3 things that you love about it, and then even better if. So like, I actually love the little how the silver works. I love her eyeshadow. I actually like the grey shadowing here. It'd be even better if she didn't look bruised. So we can still make it work. Now this one, the prompt was web, and I just spent that weekend seeing so many gorgeous mushrooms. And in fact, these mushrooms have completely inspired a brand new series on my channel called From Sketchbook to Craft Desk. And I would highly recommend that you go over and check it. And if you like mushrooms, brand new free digital stamp that you can get over there. But I was just so obsessed by drawing mushrooms. I saw a real toadstool for once in my life, which was absolutely gorgeous. And also these gorgeous inkwell mushrooms, which I just thought were beautiful. And because of that, I just kept wanting to draw mushrooms. So then I kind of thought of this little spider, and he's kind of forgot the middle line of his web there. So it's a little bit unstable, which is why he's hanging on for dear life and trying not to fall into the inkwell drops. Then we had paper. And again, I've got Bug Time Chronicles. I'm a bit disappointed in this. I think the sketch was really good. Again, it was one I was trying to do quickly, and I printed it off and it didn't quite print off properly, and then I cut it down, and then I also put distress ink around it, and I think I used the wrong colour. And I like the concept, I just don't like the execution of that one, so that one needs worked on. This one was a little bit of a cheat because what I did was I combined 2 days. So there was one day that said spots and another day that said stripes, but I combined them. This isn't my normal style of artwork at all, but I don't know, I really just wanted to draw stripy and spotty tights for some particular reason. So I had to go at doing slightly more realistic wellies. And they're not very realistic, but they're bit more than my sort of normal cartoony style. And I really like the movement of the leaves on this one. Oh my goodness, I've discovered I cannot draw bears for toffee. So the prompt was bear, and boy did I have difficulty drawing bears. I kept trying and coming back to drawing bears, and I just really struggled. They look like they shouldn't be that hard. Why are they so hard to draw? Really struggled with this one, but we got something out, and yeah. This was another one of these prompts that I hated and yet turned out into something that I really like. So the prompt was axe, and as we were walking through the forest the day that I saw the mushrooms and things, we were looking, there was so much storm damage. And what I love about a forest is if a tree's been chopped down or fallen down, that is really sad, but nature sort of takes over. And even though it's kind of died or had something happen to it, life is just breathed into it. So I really like this idea of the fact that the axe had chopped down the tree. It kind of caused problems within the forest, but the forest won. So the axe is still there, but now the forest is taken over, and it's full of moss and greenery, and it's been enveloped, and this tree that has been chopped down is still teeming with life. And that was my idea for that one. And this one I think is so cute. Oh my goodness, I love this one. So this one, the prompt was button. Again, it was such an open prompt. It was like, what on earth do I do with this? And then eventually I kind of thought of button moon. And then because I've drawn these little seedlings, see they've popped up again. Because seeds are affected by the moon, when they're in the soil, I thought it would be really cool if you had these little seeds that are looking after the moon, because by looking after the moon, they look after their cycles and stuff in the ground. That just really appealed to me. So we've got a little button moon, and then they've got the ladder up, and they're giving it a little polish. And then I love playing with glow and lighting. Again, maybe not the best I could have done, but I was working within a time frame, and for what I had, I really love how that one turned out. We are almost there. This one, the prompt was sour, and I've drawn a little lemon house. I do like drawing fruit houses. I've got a collection of stamps that are fruit houses. So this one, we've got the lemon tree, and again, this one I digitized, then printed out and coloured using alcohol markers. This one was a new challenge for me. So this one was whiskers. I'm really pleased with how this turned out because I coloured the whole thing using paint markers. Normally for me, paint markers are something that come in at the end just to add details and highlights. But because she was a fluffy cat, I thought it would be quite good to have a nice painterly effect. And I've never used paints, acrylic markers like that before. So this is Whisker, and I really enjoyed how this turned out. And then because I enjoyed that, I tried paint markers again for this one, but with a different style with the block one. So the prompt was ghost, and I didn't want to draw a ghost, but I still wanted to complete the challenge. So you do get a ghost pepper, which is a very hot, fiery pepper. So we've got the little chili pepper, and he's holding ice cream because he's so hot. And then obviously he's so hot that he set the place on fire. But I do think he's really cool. And this time again, I used the acrylic markers to colour with. I did come in with a little bit of pastel just to create a softer background. But this time I've kind of gone for more of a block colour. And that is Peachtober complete. So thank you so much for joining me for the tour of that sketchbook. I hope you like the artwork. If there's anything in that artwork that you think, do you know what, I would like that as a stamp or as a paper or something, let me know, because that is what has really sparked joy inside me and made me feel really excited, is the fact that these drawings can be for you, that you can use them in your creative process, and that you get to be part of the story and part of the journey as well. So please do let me know. Also, it's just really helped to inspire that sketchbook to craft desk series, which is exactly what it is, one of my sketches being turned into something for you to create with. So please do go, pop on over and check that out. There is a free digi included, so you don't want to miss out on that. And also, have you been doing Peachtober? If you have, what did you learn and what did you create? Let me know so I can pop over and have a look at your artwork too. Until then, I will see you next Friday. Bye.